Welcome back, everybody, to Quake Pro League Week 10. I am 40 Lions, joined by ZSX. We just saw quite the upset, I would say. Avek taking it over Wenger 2-1. Yeah, I don't think we expected that at all. That's a big showing there from Avek as he remains undefeated on the EU side.
I think he's been out for a few weeks. We forgot how bloody good he was, really. Like, in all honesty, any other week, if he hadn't been out for a few weeks, I would have predicted it would be as close as that. And with that, he could have taken it. So he's just come back to remind us, hey, I'm here. I'm still one of the best. Don't forget about me, guys. And he did it against the guy who's never won the leaderboard. So all credit to him.
Yeah, no small feat at all. But from the EUs, we're going to transfer back to the Americas, and we got psygib and nosfa coming up. Two of my favorites.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll put on a good show. Two guys who love to rumble. So let's put them in a cage and see what they can do.
Always exciting. I know that most of chat is going to be upset, but I have to announce there will be no psygib cam. I know there's going to be riots. I get it. He by far one of the best webcams we've ever seen, but we'll have to wait until another day to actually see it. But what we will see is high flying action between these two. I think we're going to get into the picks here shortly, but before we do that, just based off the names, ZSX, I'd like to put you on the spot. How do you feel? Which way do you lean, psygib or nosfa?
Going to side 2-1 nosfa with hesitancy in my voice.
You're like, I don't know. I'm Ron Burgundy. I could see it. I could see it. The thing about nosfa is I love when he plays with swagger. He plays confident. He pops off. I feel like he needs that to play the appropriate style, which is kind of up close in your face. Like he'll take some risks, but somehow they'll work out just because he has that confidence with him. I feel like when he plays a little more timid, a little more defensive, it doesn't always work out. He does have that really infamous match way back at QuakeCon where he played Scale and he just ran the whole time on Blood Run 1-0. I'll never forget. It was fantastic. But that was nosfa of old. We want to see high flying action. psygib, of course, mechanically extremely gifted, fantastic player. That LG is brutal. He can absolutely glue you, hit him with the Elmers. Very, very scary stuff. So we'll see. We'll see. I feel like my gut says I want nosfa 2-1, but more realistically, it might be psygib 2-1, maybe even 3-0, maybe even 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, anything can happen, right? I feel that psygib's a more stable player. I think you know generally what you're going to get from him, and if you give him an early lead and you give him the map, he's incredibly hard to shift off of that. But nosfa, when he pulls out the big guns, he definitely has higher highs for me and a bit more flair to his game, and that eccentricity definitely just gives him a bit of an edge in these type of encounters. But as we always say, it depends what nosfa's going to turn up, because we've definitely seen him just not turn up and unplug his mouse and looks like he's forgotten how to play sometimes. So I think he's lost a bit of that erraticness in his game recently, for sure. But I'm feeling him. He's been playing a little bit more consistently than psygib, but I think he's also had a slightly easier run in terms of matchups so far as well.
Sure, sure. Well, why don't we get in the pick bands and take a look at the champs, take a look at the maps to see if that kind of changes our tune a little bit. We got Blood Covenant, Awoken, and Ruins. We got Slash Nix on BC. We got a little bit of Ranger and Strog, it looks like. And then BJ versus Scale. psygib on that Scale is scary.
Dude, will these guys just stop banning Deep Embrace? Just sit down and practice it and pick it, please. Like, I'm done.
It's a fantastic map. I love it. So
done.
I think it was 2 weeks ago where we saw constant Deep Embrace, and it was just the score lines were great. It was high flying action. I was a big fan. Had my heart palpitating. But does that change your tune at all? Do you see anything going differently based on those?
Honestly, not a huge amount. I think on the first map, Nyx can dominate Slash, but she also becomes very vulnerable. I think you need to play a perfect Nyx game against the Slash to take it away. It is easier in Blood Covenant than other games, but you just become so vulnerable. As soon as the Ghost walks down, we saw the power of Slash and her speed. So I would favor nosfa there. The other map's pretty even. Interesting to see BJ versus Scale Bearer on Ruins. I think it was on the last map that's a little bit interesting. And then we had Ranger against Strog on Awoken. So that's pretty standard meta right there. So not a huge amount. I would slightly give the edge to nosfa based on the picks, though.
All right, well, I'm going to stay with my pick of psygib. You're going to stay with your pick of nosfa, and we'll just never agree on anything, I guess. But that's fine. Chat, Go ahead, light it up. Let me know what you think. Who's going to take this one? So we're going to get into map number 1 shortly between psygib and nosfa. I'm looking forward to the scale. Psygib on scale is just something of beauty. I mean, we saw Zanaku use him so well earlier on Deep Embrace. It's going to be a little bit different on Ruins, but still that heavy area down there might be a nightmare with the Bull Rush. But first things first, we got to start off on Blood Covenant. We got Nyx, we got Slash. Let's jump into the game right now. Live between psygib and nosfa. Starting off on that heavy is psygib making his way over. He's got nail gun in hand. That's all he really wants as the fight breaks out. An immediate Ghost Walk popped as nosfa putting on the pressure early.
Yeah, leaving up the Mega just in time to push out the Ghost Walk. And this is what I meant about how vulnerable you become. As soon as that Ghost Walk is pushed, look, what can you do when Slash is running at you like that? So nosfa's definitely gonna, psygib's definitely gonna have to get his rail game going, play super defensive, but at the same time not let Slash get out of control with stack.
A little bit of a brutal start there. Like you said, you pop that Ghost Walk, you're just a sitting duck. Mega will go psygib's way as the rail, it's free. Nosfa rushes it a little bit and just misses those cheeks. That's unfortunate. Misses with a drive-by as well, just looking for some sort of damage. He's going to make the jump over to re-up on the rail slugs, but he's not going to do any damage on the heavy. He's taking a weird route, but somehow this might work out. Without a doubt here. Kind of makes you want to shout as nosfa just holding that lower. Psygib so patient, dropping down when it's safe. So no damage dealt, no big deal, but peculiar pathing there from nosfa.
Yeah, but psygib stabilized. He did pick up that item. He's got good positioning with his rail.
Wow.
Great back-to-back rails. He can also pop a Ghost Walk aggressively if he needs to. Sides against it. Oh, nosfa hitting, or missing, should I say. A couple of easy shots right there.
Does connect with that final one.
Oh, I like this path.
Close the gap. Oh, right before the Mega. That's unfortunate. psygib gets bailed out. nosfa extremely weak. Can be railable here. He's going to drop down on a 50, grab a 25, and most importantly, re-up on those shards so he can get that trail back up. But that was close. Yeah, a couple of missed opportunities with those rails. A bit of a layup. You hate to see it. That's damage that adds up, and you're going to need that, especially against someone like psygib.
Yeah, both playing slightly sloppy. Their timings and also giving away some needless damage here and there. That's a nice angle.
Impressive.
Sliding around, nosfa taking up real estate on the bridge, setting up his home, trying to land some rails, but he can't quite do it. Struggling a little bit on the rail. 3 for 13, 3 for 14 here. Does get in on the Mega. Does still have the frag lead as well, but I think if he wants to secure this lead and take this, he's got to hit rails, and that's a good start right there. There's one. Based off that damage, he could take the lower 50s, make his way back over to the heavy. This is looking a lot stronger now from nosfa. You wonder if psygib is going to aggress and put out some damage on it. It looks like he will at the last minute. Misses with that rail, just peeks out. Goes right through her legs. That rocket's huge into rail, and that's a delicious combo from the Brazilian there.
Really nicely played. psygib shouldn't really be there. He didn't hit any damage leading up to that encounter. Now he's taking a needless fight as well, giving away free frags against Slash. Not what you want to do. psygib needs to settle just a little bit now.
Machine gun just peppering, dancing past the rockets as well. Everything's coming up nosfa right now. 4 minutes in, 3 frag lead. Looking very, very strong. Again, getting in on the heavy. psygib does get a little bit of a rail, but still needs to to lay on a little more damage and be a little more aggressive here. Does grab the Mega, but immediately eating a rail, possibly two here. The swap to machine gun as nosfa just wants to do damage.
Nice.
And that's a fantastic rail. Such patience. 4-0, and right off the bat, this is terrible for psygib. Can he dance all day? And psygib does get the frag. Interesting. I think nosfa obviously all in, wanted to get that frag, but didn't have the weaponry, didn't swap in time. So psygib gets put on the board halfway through, only down 3. That's going to be a rather big opening, all things considered.
Huge opening, yeah. I mean, psygib was throwing away frags at nosfa, and all of a sudden, the conversion frag that should have been an easy kill for nosfa, he lost concentration, took his foot off the pedal just a little bit, and now he's down, well, lost 2.
Great rail off the spawn. He needs to pop Ghost Walk, and psygib waiting until the very last second. And we see that a lot with Nyx players. They feel like they just don't need to use it, but it's always important. Just use it, be safe. Does stack back up, does look healthier now here as nosfa trying to fight his way out of that upper armor corner there. Good rail from psygib as he drops down from the pillars. Good rail from nosfa. psygib needs to be careful now as he's on the back foot, but he's made it close. It's not going to be a blowout. psygib's still very much in this one. 6 minutes in, only down 2. The play for the heavy is going to be huge as nosfa actually just fires 1 rocket, doubles back. I like that.
Yeah, that's really nice. nosfa's doing a good job at the moment of only taking these major items if it's a safe bet. Otherwise, he's allowing psygib to get in, but consistently doing good damage in and around them.
Another great rail. Can he hit it? Wow, Ghost Walk in the nick of time. In the nicks of time, even. But he will get torn down in the pillars as he goes for the 50 shard. A little bit too predictable there. nosfa read it perfectly. 5-2. Gets a rail off the spawn. That is a big one. Big rail off the spawn here. But luckily for psygib, his rocket launcher was still there. So if nosfa gets too crazy and drops down, he could eat a lot of damage, and that's exactly what happens. But luckily for him, the LG was psygib's choice. So nosfa drops down, gets another frag, and another rail off the spawn, and he might even pile it on even more.
Yeah, felt like in the first minute or 2 of this game, nosfa was really not connecting, but ever since he took the lead, he's just been racking back-to-back rails.
Good rail from psygib. He needs more, though.
Stopwatch.
Just, again, missing out on the mega. Missing out on the frag, rather, because the mega saves nosfa's life trying to make an exit. The great escape, but he's going to eat a rail. This is very, very crucial for psygib here. He needs to try and get this frag. Problem is he's extremely weak too, so if he takes a return rail, it's going to be all bad, but he does a great job of juking and jiving, almost getting that rocket. Does get the heavy, and now he has advantage. 2:20 left, and nosfa's in a bad way. That rail will miss. And this is so crucial here. He can't let nosfa stack back up and get away, but it looks like that's exactly what's going to happen as he flies through. That's a great rail, actually stopping his progress and keeping him low. Can he get the frag? It seems like he's been trying for forever. There's the rocket into the machine gun. psygib finally gets it. 2 minutes left.
And that is time. That is a good amount of time. And you can see the split on the major items, which means psygib has the opportunity to consolidate his position and control. He needs to take all these items. He can't let nosfa get away with any of them. nosfa's trying desperately to buy some time to get in for the mega. He's actually missed it. He's still...
Wow.
Okay. Big
We
mistake.
got a game, ZSX.
Big mistake.
Did you say steak? Here as the drop down into the rocket. Oh no, and psygib hits him with the Liptons. I hope he was thirsty. He's still down by a frag, but psygib is feeling himself.
This is game on 40 as nosfa is letting this slip away. Coming out the center border, aggressive here. He is railable. He's taking some health. But there's no big rush from nosfa now. That means from psygib now, sorry.
Oh, nosfa playing a dangerous game with the telly there. So much damage from that rocket. psygib, he knows he's got time with 1 frag. It's just a matter of dropping down in front of him with a shotgun, and he will tie it at 6. Can't believe what I am watching right now. almost gets a rail. psygib reading this perfectly. He's still tied at 6, but he is absolutely in the driver's seat. nosfa needs to be extremely careful here, and he's very fortunate the psygib isn't pushing. I mean, he has the stack. He should know that nosfa doesn't really have anything to work with. nosfa's just hugging the ropes. He's got rocket, rail, and no armor.
Why wasn't he doing this a minute ago? Steaming in like Thomas the Tank Engine, thinking he was the one in the lead, when in reality, nosfa had it down to a T, and there is an encounter here up on the mid ground. Missing that rail, it wouldn't have killed him. But look at the stack advantage from psygib.
Rails exchange. nosfa cannot fight this. He needs to bounce, and he does through the telly. Nice moves. But can he stay alive? There's not that many resources on the pillar side of the map here, as he's going to collect everything he can. But Ghostwalk is available for psygib. He's going to grab the lower 50 shard and make his way back to the heavy. And that's going to be a big, big stack to overcome. Ooh, that wall jump saving his life. That rocket could have been right in the face of psygib here. As he goes up the jump pad, little bit of rocket damage. It's both players trying to fight over this mega, but psygib's going to prevail. Missing out on that rail opportunity going through. The trail's popped to ensure no chase, no shenanigans with a potential aggressive Ghostwalk here. And I thought he was going to drop down the treble, not quite reaching. Somehow pulling the emergency brake here, and psygib actually pops the Ghostwalk to get out without taking damage. And so now nosfa, after he grabs the mega, he should play a little more aggressive than usual. He knows the Ghostwalk's down. Now's the opportunity to deal damage and put the pressure on.
100%. He's baiting nosfa and psygib out here, and he's fallen into the trap. Unfortunately, the rocket didn't really connect. psygib is forced to retreat. That Ghostwalk will be coming up relatively soon. So he's in a much better position now he has that back. See the stalemate here as it is sudden death. And neither player's connecting as they would like with their rails.
In now. And that rail denies nosfa the drop off. Actually, 2 rails in a row as psygib with the perfect angles make it 3. psygib has done it.
Man.
He runs it back from, what was it, 6-0?
No, it was like 6-2, 6-3, but
still close. Wow, that was quite the showing from psygib. But you can't help but think nosfa kind of threw away some of those frags. Just plus forwarding off the spawn, doesn't really have anything. Didn't really do a lot of damage before he got taken out anyway. It's kind of, it leaves you wondering.
Someone needs to give him a high mic because he's choking hard, dude. Like, what was that?
Whoa. Yeah, you gotta wonder. I might have to hit him up about that later, but shouts to psygib, taking advantage of the opportunities given to him. He takes it into sudden death, and he secures it and takes map number 1. That's a big play from psygib there, and I'm sure chat wanted the webcam. Right now is when you want to look inside.
That was a huge mistake to give away that frag off the spawn. Just got really, really greedy. But as you say, all credit to psygib. He did what he needed to do. He played stable. He didn't give away too many frags. He hit his shots. And then, yeah, nosfa kind of just played into his hands a little bit, making wrong decision after wrong decision. You should be never giving away that type of a lead. So, got to shout out psygib for maintaining his calm and collectedness under such pressure. And I mean, what can you expect when you've seen him playing? You know how cool and calm he is. But
such a good sequence of rails on that last frag. It was amazing.
Look at that, 52 rails to 45 rails. You can see how these guys like to play this game.
A little bit rail heavy from these players here. And it might not change as we're going to go into Awoken next. It's going to be Strog versus Ranger. psygib on the Strog, nosfa on the Ranger. But that's a look at the stats from map number 1. That dropping body block shotgun near the lower armor was huge. Just cut him off and said, no more. You shall not pass.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what the play was from nosfa. I think he didn't expect him to drop. He wanted to pressure the heavy, but good read from psygib, cutting him off, and every single decision he made was the right one, leading to the final.
And do you think, just on a personal level, do you think playing Slash, sometimes players get in the headspace of gotta go fast, and that might have affected it, like just speed for the sake of speed rather than controlled and kind of traversing the map cautiously?
Yeah, that could definitely play into it, as you say. You know, you have this tool, you've got to use it at all times. When it is exactly that, is a tool, it's a utility. Use it when it benefits you. And you see the best Slash players, I think we've seen like Razy, when he uses it, he's not renowned as a Slash player, when he uses it, he's actually quite slow. He kind of patrols and simply kills them. They use it on the mid ground and then they use the speed when it becomes in handy, whereas nosfa kind of just held W for 2 minutes straight, which didn't really benefit him.
Yeah, unfortunate there as the Brazilian will drop map number 1. Very, very close, but psygib comes out on top. We're going to get into map number 2 and see if he can keep up this momentum or if the Brazilian has something to say about that. It's going to be, again, Strog versus Ranger on Awoken. Should be fast-paced. We'd like to see it, but we've seen a slow Awoken before. Let's take a look as we're going to load on up. Ooh, big rocket into the peaker. Wow, these rails from nosfa, so unfortunate. They are hard, though. He's trying to hit these extremely fast drive-by rails. Not the easiest at all here. psygib trying to deny the banana, and he does. Rockets on rockets on rockets.
Nice.
Takes the frag. Fantastic cutoff there and doubles back for the mega. Dodges that rocket, dodges those nails. Should be able to set up for a rail. There's the dire orb through the telly. That's a warning flare. It says, don't you come near me. A little bit of an LG tickle there from psygib as they're battling for the mega. psygib's going to hit a great rail as nosfa tries to drop down and find an angle of his own. Another great rail there. nosfa down to 25 HP. Does have some bubbles to work with in the banana LG area, but needs to be super careful as he comes through, and that's just going to be that Elmer's we talked about. Just easy LG for psygib.
It's nice and controlled from psygib at this point. He's the guy in position. nosfa had been relegated to this low ground for the vast majority of the first 2 minutes, and psygib's the one very much on the initiative.
A little bit of tribal. There's the dire orb through the drive-through window. nosfa trying to make something happen, but instead he will just get fragged as the rockets pop him towards the sky and take him out.
That was an unusual play.
Unorthodox from the Brazilian, but puts himself back on. 3-1. And you might see that just relentless aggression pay off, just grinding down psygib by just being relentless.
Nice repositioning. That's a better way to use it. Needs to get himself onto a lightning gun, but slow and steady. Needs to make sure he doesn't push into a choke point without knowing where his opponent is.
That's just brutal.
Okay.
Oh, psygib with a denial. What a shot there.
That was like slow motion.
That was crazy because you saw nosfa, he felt it. He was like, I'll deal with the peaker, I'll jump over. And the minute the peaker disappeared, psygib was all over that shot. It was just such a great, great shot by psygib. 4-2. Is nosfa still on the back foot here, trying to make something happen? Rail coming out from psygib, not landing. The dire orb misdirection, not even buying into it. There's the rocket, little bit of peaker as well, but psygib's going to take so much damage. Can nosfa do it? The heavy will save his life, and the retaliations from psygib lands its on its target, but so weak here. Both players looking for that rail. A little bit of rocket through the drive-through window. No dice. psygib able to stack back up. nosfa still very, very weak. Oh, the dance.
How is he alive?
The dance with the devil is nosfa still alive. 25 HP in the rail. A bit of overkill, but that'll do it. 5-2 as psygib extending the lead here. 4 minutes in. That's so much LG. Oh my god, psygib with the defense, hitting everything he needs to stay alive, but nosfa takes him out of the banana. But that sequence from psygib was so gorgeous.
It was really nice.
Literally everything nosfa could throw at him, he was, and psygib just said, nope, 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 just dodges and hits everything he needs to. 6-3. Is that heavy? He wants it so bad. Should be a death sentence here as nosfa jumps over. That's a fantastic rail from nosfa.
These guys love the rail finishing style points.
Yeah, this is just pretty. This is just a highlight reel of a match right now. 6-4 for both of these players. psygib creeping on top by the heavy. nosfa making his way over to the nail gun. Misses with the opening rail. psygib will not, however. Dire Orb is available for nosfa. So he will opt to rocket jump up and try and secure this 50 shard of T-Con.
That's awareness by psygib, tempering his movement through that choke point, not knowing where nosfa was, but appreciating there might be a trap in play. And we seem to have settled down on the tempo now after pretty chaotic for a few minutes on the interim there.
A little room to breathe here for both players, as well as us in the chat. 6-4. nosfa just waiting by the power up above heavy here. Gets a free heavy, rotates back, but he won't be in time for the mega, so instead he'll concede and just try and reposition a little bit. Maybe we'll catch out psygib in the banana. He's already gone, so that's out of the question here. Is nosfa playing extremely slow, just trying to catch out psygib, land some surprise damage, and that's going to be it. Into the orb, into the rockets. Can he land it? psygib's so weak, 50 HP, the shotgun out of the sky. That was perfectly played by nosfa.
Yeah, that was pretty clean, just before the heavy as well. Nice rail. Might even be pushing in for the mega after hitting these back-to-back rails now. Whoa, how did he even see that, Pika?
I don't know, but the mega's stolen out from under him. That's got to be so disheartening. Could get this frag here by the drive-through window. psygib's LG is so good, but not this time. It's not enough. psygib drops. It's 6-6. nosfa tied it up, and there's still plenty of time. This could still go either way, but nosfa trying to get a grip on this map here. 8 seconds till the heavy. Great rail. He's going to look for another one. Almost hits the follow-up here. There's the set play, and almost gets it. Almost gets it.
Yeah, stealing that mega was huge because it reset the stack somewhat.
LG on LG. And the rocket from around the corner. He made the play for the 25, thinking extending will do it for him, but it won't. But the respawn will be enough, so tied at 7 right off the bat. Just little bits of chip damage from nosfa. Can't really land anything girthy enough to pursue. Getting closer to the 8-minute mark now, tied at 7. psygib does have the peeker available. nosfa has the dire orb if it comes down to it. Wow, it's a great rail. Serving it up hot and fresh. Almost gets one through the drive-through window. Lots of tribal though. psygib chews on a volley of those. No armor to nosfa's name. Well, very minimal armor as he deals with the peeker. Eyeing this 50 shard. Good shoulder check to make sure it's safe. Here's the telly. Almost gets, he does in fact, to get the rail. He eats one in return, so it's just turning into a very slow war of attrition here. Players trying to just grind each other down. psygib just jumping through the telly and somehow makes it rain. That burst of damage takes him out, and that's just crazy.
Yeah, that was unexpected. nosfa seemed like he was in a good position. They're having the read on where psygib was going, but the damage was more than good enough coming out from psygib. But there's plenty of time for nosfa to get back into this. He needs to stabilize, get some light armors under his belt. Also needs a rocket as well, but has maybe one more set of major items before he has to make a play. We can see psygib just camping out here over by the heavy. Quite happy to now stabilize and play slow. Listen out, use those audio cues to make his escape.
And nosfa actually used that dire orb just to get to T-Con from the Mega. So he's not going to have that to his disposal right now. 20 seconds down, nosfa trying to hit a rail on his way out. He's going to drop to the armor. This is actually going to corner him, but psygib doesn't need to put on any pressure.
No, and the clutch rails from psygib have been on point. Every time he needs to hit a rail, he's been getting a good repositioning there, but he has stuck himself in a corner, and that will be the deciding frag for psygib to give him that little bit of buffer he needs to see out this map.
Yeah, he'll have to try really hard to throw this away as the shotgun up the jump pad won't do it. The Mega's right there for psygib, and again hits him with the LG. 10-7, and it should be a victory lap now for psygib here. So much nail damage coming out into the LG. Might even get another one.
That was a fun map.
Yeah, psygib looking a little bit like psygod here. That's 2 in a row after the comeback on Blood Covenant, looking a little stronger on Awoken. And nosfa, I mean, if you're him, what do you do? How do you approach this issue of psygib, this pesky little bug that just won't go away, that won't get squashed?
I think he needs to play the items slightly more effectively. They were pretty even throughout in trading on damage, but it just feels to me that psygib has a better methodical play on the item so far. There wasn't a lot separating them in this instance here. There were some good plays from both sides, and it just feels that the clutchness of psygib, he hits the shots he has to hit, and that nullifies the advances of nosfa. So if he plays the items better, he has more of a stack to work with. It's always difficult when you're playing on 140 ping, so if you can get that done, then he's definitely in with a shout. There was nothing separating them. He should have walked away with a victory in map 1, but psygib definitely fully deserved map 2.
Yeah, just really well played. The dire orb there, a bit of a Hail Mary. psygib takes a 10-6 on Awoken, and that leaves us with Ruins. We're going to see psygib on that scale. We're going to see nosfa on the BJ, and I feel like this might be a clean sweep for psygib.
Yeah, you can see that the major items firmly going in psygib's way, even though they're pretty much bang on equal for damage. So if nosfa can even up the item differential, that's where he lost that map.
Yeah, as we take a look at the stats from that one for psygib, we'll see. This is going to be a bit of an uphill battle. Again, you know, you have the medium versus heavy champion story here. Scale is also crazy with his bull rush, the damage reduction not only, but also just the sheer amount of burst damage that he can get up close. Absolutely trampling and stifling down by that heavy area specifically, maybe even around the T-Con next to Mega. So nosfa has to be very careful where he positions himself, but also the dual wield usage could be easily negated by a bull rush just to mitigate that damage with that damage reduction. So we'll see how nosfa decides to play it, whether he can kind of keep in mind, okay, he used bull rush, now I can kind of trap him, use dual LG, rockets, whatever. But it doesn't always work out that way. You know, like we said earlier, everyone has a plan until they get bull rushed in the face.
Yeah, you have to make sure your positioning is on point when you're playing the BJ in this matchup in particular, because if you're caught off guard or you don't have your dual wield in hand, then you're in a world of pain. You have no maneuverability, no real fallbacks. So you have to play a very solid duel. I do feel he lost out a little bit on the last map, so it needs to work on that if he's going into this one. We know how strong psygib is on scale anyway, so I would definitely favor scale just a little bit.
Yep. Well, this is going to be it. Map number 3 for the set. Chat, let's see what you think. Lock in your predictions on this one. Is it going to be a clean sweep? Is it going to be sweeps week? Is it going to be psygib's 3-0? We shall see as we're going on Ruins of Sarnath right here and now. psygib versus nosfa. Machine gun damage right off the bat. Returned rail from psygib. Still keeping that bull rush in, and he's got, more importantly, that pizza cutter for the gauntlet, and that's huge. You want to keep that in mind, chat. A little more machine gun here as nosfa's actually taking the fight to him. There's the bull rush that we were talking about, pops him up, and the LG follow-up is absolutely pristine.
Not entirely sure what the thought process was from nosfa there. Going in with the dual wield rockets from range.
He wanted a little bit of magic to happen. I mean, that he is the magic maker. Unfortunately for him, no dice on that one, but that's kind of how nosfa plays. He takes risks, and when they work out, it looks great, and when they don't, you know, you're down by a frag.
Cool. Nice double back from psygib there. Really nice. Needs to get a rocket. He's out of LG ammo. Needs to get some of that as well. But desperately needs a rocket.
nosfa again using dual wield. psygib just waiting. You can tell he just wants to bull rush again, and this might be the corridor in which he does it. I think he's barely misspotting him out. He should hear the rockets behind him. One will land, so now he knows exactly where he's at. But he'll opt to go through the back stairs back up to the Mega. Will he reach it in time? Depends on the jumps here. He could bull rush towards it, and there it is indeed. The bull rush into the rocket. Is it going to be enough? And it is. Perfectly placed there from psygib, and nosfa is like, what just happened?
Yeah. We said at the end of the last game that nosfa needed to put much more emphasis on items, and that's not happening so far. 4 heavies to 0 so far, in favor of psygib, obviously. Oh no.
Oh my god, it almost looks as though nosfa cratered there, riding the lightning all the way down. psygib adds another frag to his body count, and this is getting brutal real quick.
Damn, cratering. Zoomers won't know what that is.
They'll be like, what does that mean? Fall damage? What is that? The rails raging on from both players, but nothing really landing. psygib still has the stack advantage, probably always will, unless nosfa starts putting out massive amounts of damage. The heavy's going to go his way. This intergalactic warlord is going to be so stacked. There's another rail to keep nosfa's stack even down. The big rocket jump there from psygib. Oh no. Boop. Wow, actually that's a ton of damage from nosfa, so not bad at all. As psygib boops him from behind and then finishes off 4-0, but this is the opportunity for nosfa. He has to grab whatever he can and try and keep the pressure on.
100%. He needs to go aggressive now, taking his opportunity to pick up the heavy, but now he's found his opponent in the hallway, and yes, he's taken a lot of damage, but he's got lots of pullback here.
Perfectly timed fight there. Fantastic rocket from psygib, but just not quite enough. nosfa takes advantage, puts himself on the board, 330. But, you know, taking down a scale bearer, especially when psygib can maintain control, it's going to be that hard. Unless he keeps hitting rails like that. There's the push. Double LG is not going to be the one. Double rocket is going to be what takes it. But I do like watching dual wield LG, especially when it's cold like that. LG on LG, the bull rush, is that going to change the tide? Barely does not. 8 HP.
But you can see the trouble now, and he's just going to run at you. The big man, look at his spawning stack. He's just picked up the Mega as well. He knows exactly where his opponent is. Just wants to run at him. He's got him weak enough so he can't contest for the heavy, so it's going to be rinse and repeat now. Pick up that, can get back on top. Pick up the lightning gun.
nosfa dancing all day, dodging rockets, landing rails. Dodging rails as well, and this is what he needed. Dual wield's going to be up shortly. And more importantly, plenty of time. Preemptive dual wield, though, that's going to be upsetting when you're just caught out with dual LGs in your pants. A bit of rail here, needs to try and get out of here so he doesn't get pinned. psygib has just such a massive stack. Oh, psygib. Nice. Wow, just right up to the ledge, and the rail will take him down, and he'll get in on the Mega. nosfa gets caught out trying to make a move for it. The LG should be good enough. The moonwalking rail actually missing its mark. nosfa still alive with 25 HP, still pursuing. If that would have been a frag, that would have been incredible here. As nosfa, again, relentless, fearless.
He's going up.
He should be able to get this.
Oh no! The ping!
Wow, that is so disheartening there. Dual wield preemptively again, just begging psygib to show his face so he can get the frag, and psygib says no dice.
Now, I've not seen the benefit of the BJ pick so far. We haven't seen any effective use of the dual wield. It's all been preemptive, which is fine, as you say, but not once has psygib committed, so it's been ineffective so far. Whereas the scale bearer, on the other hand, has been an amazing pick for psygib.
Yeah, very, very strong. Doing a lot of damage with the bull rush. As as nosfa now pushes in. Can he get enough? And the trade comes out. So all of that work for nosfa, and it still ends up in a trade. It's just so hard to overcome a Scale Bear stack when he's in control.
Yeah, it's really, really tough. And you've seen as soon as he gets a frag, if it's not a clean frag, the big man just keeps running right back at you. psygib with that little grin on his face, his gold glasses gleaming with the lightning gun specks flying off them.
Gotta love it. You gotta love it. There's the bull rush again.
No.
Does hit him with the ole, and that'll be a frag. So 7-5. psygib needs to not, you know, completely let off the gas here. This is not done and over by any stretch of the imagination. There's a good rail off the spawn. So nosfa tries to even up the stacks. Does grab the heavy as well. Dual wield won't be up for another 10 seconds. Almost gets an opportunity at a rail, and psygib just skipping over that slug.
Yeah, probably going to see psygib go a little bit defensive now after that mishap of a bull rush. But needs to keep the pressure onto nosfa, given that that's a good use of the dual wield. Not quite an ole, stuck in the corner, but this time the stack is just too big.
Just too much, and again, the bull rush does the damage reduction, so the dual wield doesn't do much. Fighting around the eyeball now is LG on LG. 19 HP is very, very close. nosfa spawns out in the courtyard, and just when he wanted to try and get that refrag, the mega comes up for psygib, and he's stacked immediately again. So 9-4, so we're getting closer and closer to the 8-minute mark. Looking a little more and more out of reach. Never mind, the nail gun and nosfa have something else in mind. He figured it out. It's the nail gun. The nail gun is the key. nosfa stringing together 2 frags with that nail gun, doing some home improvement all over psygib Scale Bear's face. 2 minutes left, still down by 2 frags, but there is an opportunity.
But the problem is that psygib does such a good job of committing his body, even where he dies, just to weaken nosfa so much that he can't get on the items. He stole away that mega. He's now in position with a heavy. Oh, that rocket does miss, but he's still so weak. And he can just use pure brute force to get this over the line. But as I say that, it's definitely not over, as if he goes down here.
psygib a bit of a gamble here. But he's finally going to take his leave. Heavy won't be up, so instead nosfa will be able to grab mega for free. Should be able to catch out psygib down at the heavy if he's fast enough, but it looks like he might just miss out on the opportunity.
1 minute warning.
Still 2 frags. Dual wield is up for nosfa. Can he catch him out in the courtyard? Did he see his head? He did. There's a good rail. psygib's pretty weak, but there's the dual wield. He pops just so incredibly early. Now it's just a matter of running. Great rail there. psygib down to 50 HP now, but still nosfa has to finish the frag. He has to try and find him. A little bit of a Statue of Liberty play here from nosfa, assuming that psygib will just lend himself to a frag, but it looks like he's just running. Why are you running?
Yeah, there's nothing more frustrating in a game of Quake than trying to catch your opponent, and he has run out of time as well. He gets the final frag, but he's not going to be able to find him with 5 seconds to go, as he has to guess right and he has to kill him when it's not going to happen.
You lose.
Well played to psygib.
3-0 for psygib. That one was extremely close, but he just chewed up enough of the clock to get away with it. But nosfa, he came back. I mean, again, it's very hard to overcome a Scale Bear that's stacked. That is probably one of the more difficult things to do, is just take down any heavy champion when they control the map like that. You need a lot of rails, you need good rockets. So hats off to nosfa, but psygib, man, he cleans it up 3-0 in a convincing fashion there. And the bull rush went a long way.
Yeah, I mean, every map went to the wire. Nothing really separated these two, and still have no idea how he lost map 1. But maps 2 and 3, nosfa had a lot more control on. No, sorry, psygib. I don't know why I keep switching the names. psygib had a lot more control on, but for me, nosfa just couldn't play the items as well as he needed to. And a large part of that is definitely credit to psygib, who used his body to absolutely bully nosfa off of them. And even if he had to commit 1 or 2 frags, it made sure that he then got control back and didn't let it go.
Yeah, really, really well done from psygib there. Puts a bow on it. 3-0 is always nice. Again, especially as we're moving closer and closer to the Stage 1 finals in about 4 weeks. Everybody wants to get the best position they can going into the bracket play, so shouts to psygib. Really, really close games from nosfa, as you said. I don't know. Look at the accuracy right there. I don't know how you fix that. I think maybe a little bit less plus forward, especially on map number 1. We saw nosfa be kind of hyper aggressive in situations where he had no business being hyper aggressive. Maybe hoping for a little bit of magic, but that actually just opened up the game for psygib, and he took it in sudden death.
Yeah, and map 3, I don't think the BJ offered anything in reality. So that was a bit more of a champion pick or champion usage if you want to look at it that way. That was a large part of it, but fundamentals, psygib did better today.
Yeah, really, really good mechanics. Fantastic play. Earned that 3-0, but we have 2 matches coming up next. The show matches. So DJ Wheat will be joining us shortly. Don't go anywhere. Big, big things on the way. We'll be right back.